Hello and welcome to How Church Works. I'm Scott Wylie. In the last episode, I discussed COVID-19 and our church's response to that crisis. Since then, a great deal has changed. Just yesterday, the President of the United States changed the guidelines for group gatherings. We had been working with the understanding that we could gather in groups of 100. But yesterday, that number was downgraded to 10. We had been making plans based on the number 100. Today, those plans had to begin to change. Normally, on a Sunday, our church has 3 worship services, along with ministries for children, students, and adults who meet in classrooms and other spaces throughout the campus. Just like last Sunday, we're condensing down to one worship service at 10 o'clock a.m. We're going to be doing that service for the foreseeable future as a live stream over the internet. In addition to the live stream, we're going to offer a study guide that people can use to dive deeper into the topic and use as a family discussion guide. One of the significant changes we had to make today was that we intended to roll out something new this Sunday that we were calling Sunday home groups. We were in the process of identifying homes and dividing our congregation into small groups so that they could meet within the guidelines of 100 people, but still gather with other believers for worship and study and fellowship. But now that the maximum group size is 10 for the next 2 weeks, we've temporarily suspended those plans. We're going to continue working to identify the homes and divide up the congregation, but we won't be rolling out Sunday home groups for at least 2 weeks. So for the next 2 Sundays, we're encouraging our families to stay home and participate with us as a church over the live stream, but do that in family units. Our senior pastor will be coming into the church and doing his live stream from the stage. We simply made that decision for practical reasons. We already have a live stream, and so the equipment and technology and everything that we already need is there, so we're just going to keep doing it there. For the most part, our congregation this Sunday and the next will be at home watching online and then participating with the study guide as families. Also this week, each of our ministries has been very busy taking steps to stay involved and find ways to serve our church and community. Our children's pastor, student pastor, and college pastor all have plans to stay involved in the children, students, and parents who are part of our ministry. We want to be checking up on them, encouraging them, finding ways to meet their needs, answering their questions, and just simply providing pastoral care. One of the populations that we're paying very close attention to is our senior adults. Our church has a really blended demographic with lots of young families, but also lots of senior adults. We have several adults in our church who don't have computers, they don't have email addresses, they don't have the internet in their homes. And so participating in the things that we do over the internet is impossible for some of our members. The pastor who leads our senior adult ministry has been making contact with them by phone. We don't really know exactly how it's going to work, but we are committed to maintaining our ministry to them and making sure that they too are receiving the help, support, and encouragement that they need. Even though we're still in the thick of this and things are rapidly changing, I've tried to take time now and again throughout the day to pause and reflect on what I'm experiencing. When the Lord completely shakes up everything you do and the way you do it, it's both troubling and exciting at the same time. It's caused me and our church to think about the ministries we have, as well as the way we do those ministries. Of course, I'm really eager to be at the other end of this crisis and resume corporate worship and begin to regather as a church. But I also think we'll be different. I think our church is going to be stronger, healthier, and I fully anticipate that many of our ministries will look different than they did prior to the COVID-19 outbreak. I don't know what that means, but I do think that's going to happen, and I'll continue to explore that on this podcast. And then one final thing I'll share in this episode is that we're using this as an opportunity to explore new ministries that we really haven't done before. I'll just give you one illustration. Our children's pastor has been developing a relationship with an elementary school near us. One of the situations we're facing in our community is the number of students who relied on school lunches to have at least one healthy meal each day. That was a pretty significant number of children, and the elementary school we partner with is at the forefront of that. Our children's pastor has been working with that school and representatives from the PTA, and he's launching a food bank at our church. We're setting aside a room for this, and on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, we're going to get organized and begin collecting the items to stock that food bank. And the goal is that the food bank will be open by Thursday. We'll, of course, continue to receive donations, but begin distribution on Thursday. So our children's pastor is working on all of the plans and logistics for that. That's just one example of new ministries we're considering and launching. It's really the kind of thing that's happening throughout the church right now. People are looking for new and creative ways that we can serve each other as a congregation and serve the community as a whole. Well, as I said, we're right in the thick of this, and things are continuing to unfold and change. But that's a little bit of insight into the process we're going through as we continue to respond and deal with COVID-19. At the time that I'm recording this, no one in our church has the virus yet that we know of, but there are several dozen cases in our county, and the news is that it's spreading rapidly in our area, so it won't be long before it personally touches our congregation. I'd really be interested to hear what your church is doing and any ideas you have for how ministries can thrive and serve during a time of crisis like this. Does a podcast that explores the inner workings of a church interest you? If so, please subscribe. I'm Scott Wylie. Thanks for listening.